So I'm going to start by using the Morphe eyeshadow primer to prime my eyelids, and it's really important to prime before you do your eyeshadow because you want a good base. You can either set it or not set it. I like to set it just because I feel like it blends better. I'm going to be using the Jaclyn Hill palette today and some Morphe brushes. I'll link in the description in order what shadows I'm using. I'm just testing out this Morphe primer right now. I've only used it a few times, and I mean, I like it so far, but I don't like how thin it is. I'm really trying to get that transition color on there because it's super important to have that if you want that gradient looking effect. And if you want your eyeshadows to look more blended, you do want to use kind of a light hand when you're blending. It might not, seem like it's working at first, but you just have to kind of work with it. I did cut out a lot of parts because I kept looking up at the mirror that was behind my camera because it's only me recording right now and my camera was out of focus the first time and I didn't see it. So I'm just trying to make sure that it's not out of focus again. So as you're going through and you're adding colors, make sure that you are blending because you don't want it to get muddy. And then I'm just adding a darker color and I'm kind of dragging that out in a V shape. I'm going to do a half cut crease, and the brush I'm going to use is an e.l.f. brush. I haven't found a good flat brush that I like yet. A lot of them, the bristles separate and it isn't as clean as I would like it to be. But the e.l.f. one is pretty okay when you use a really light hand in foundation. There's probably a better way to go at that instead of using my finger to blend it out, but that's just what's always worked best for me. And I did like the way that my other one came out better. I don't know, this eye is just really hooded, and I just like to practice on this one more. Make sure you do go back with a light hand and blend out that edge part because you don't want it to just harshly stop and look like, you didn't blend it. For drugstore eyeliner, I really like the e.l.f. I like the way that the Wet n Wild one looks. Like it applies really nice, but the only thing that I don't like is how ashy it looks. And don't forget to apply mascara under your lashes. I just think it looks natural that way. It is super important to moisturize your skin before you do your makeup no matter what. I like to use the CeraVe one. I know I have oily skin, but I learned the hard way that no matter what your skin type is, you have to moisturize before your makeup. And don't forget that priming is such an important part of making your foundation last longer. The one that I'm using is the M.F.E.O Porefessional, and I've had it for months. It's lasted me almost 7 months, and it's a little bit expensive, but it is perfect. I've talked about this in another foundation video that I've done before. I'm just going with the green pencil because it cancels out redness. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and set it lightly with the translucent powder because it does help your oils from breaking through too. I know that it seems like it's a little much, but you just have to do it with a light hand. I just mixed two foundations together because neither of them match me perfectly, and it still doesn't. I'm going to actually go through and fast forward this because I've already done a foundation video before. When it comes to events and stuff, I do like to have a more full coverage look, so I go in with the brush first, and then to make it, look a little more flawless, I guess, I use a beauty blender to take the product away, but still have that full coverage look. And don't forget to blend down your neck. One thing that a lot of people ask me about is why their concealer keeps creasing and why their eyeliner transfers, and I think it's because they're not setting their under eyes. I don't know, but that is just such a big tip that I give people, is to remember to set your concealer, and then when you're setting it, go from the outside in, and then you can go back and forth like you normally would. And I normally wouldn't set this many areas, but since it's prom and it's, you're going to be dancing and stuff, I would set the areas that you would get most oily in. The more diffused, bronzy look is for me. I don't really like how the sharp contour looks just on myself. I don't like how it looks on me, but it looks really good on some people. I'm just using my fingers to highlight right now because the way that a brush sometimes makes it look, it's just really there's two harsh lines where you can tell the bristles were, so I don't know, for stuff like this, I like to use my fingers. I'm just using the same 3 shadows that I used earlier just to open my eyes up a little bit more. I'm making sure to keep that deep brown color on the outside. I don't want to close up my eyes by, putting it on my whole waterline, so I'm just keeping it in that corner. I'll make a more in-depth video about how I apply my lipstick, how I make it stay on longer, how I keep it off my teeth, all that stuff, because it did take me a while to figure out what worked for me. And always set your face when you're done with your makeup just to make it stay on longer. And that's it. Thank you for watching my video. If you could subscribe to me and you can like it and do all that cool stuff, that would be super awesome.